twins story. It's called The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, only because it sounds a whole lot better than The Secrets of Sophie and Josh. It's got the same ring to it, you know. So let me find you this piece. So this is all your fault. Right, so Sophie and Josh are in London. Sophie and Josh are in London. They've just arrived from Paris. They have escaped Dr. John Dee. Paris, they've left a ruin, an absolute devastating ruin. They unleashed a huge monster in Paris. We've had lots of chaos, we've had lots of mayhem, and we're taking a deep breath, and we've just arrived in London. And so Sophie and Josh and Nicholas Flamel are our three characters. They stepped out of the ornate red brick train station onto Euston Road and stopped in surprise. When they'd left Paris just over 2.5 hours ago, the skies had been cloudless, the temperature already creeping into the 70s. But in London, it felt at least 10 degrees cooler, and it was raining hard. The wind whipping down the road was cold enough to make the twins shiver. They turned and ducked back into the shelter of the station. And that was when Sophie saw him. A boy in a green parker with the hood pulled up, she said suddenly, turning to Nicholas, concentrating fiercely on his pale eyes. She knew that if she looked away, she would involuntarily glance at the young man who had been hurrying after them. She could still see him from the corner of her eye. He was loitering close to a pillar, staring at the cell phone in his hand, fiddling with it. There was something wrong with the way he was standing, something unnatural. And then she thought she caught the faintest scent of spoiled meat on the air. Her nose wrinkled. Closing her eyes, she concentrated on the odour. It smelled like something rotten, like roadkill. The smile on the alchemist's face grew strained. Wearing a hood. So that's who's been following us. The twins heard a slight tremor in his voice. Except he's not a boy, is he? Sophie asked. Nicholas shook his head. Not even close. Josh took a deep breath. Well then, do you want me to tell you that there are now 2 more people wearing green hooded parkers, and they're both headed this way? 3, Flamel whispered in horror. We've got to go. Grabbing the twins' arms, he pulled them out into the sleeting rain, turned to the right and dragged them down the street. The rain was so cold it took Josh's breath away. Pellets of hard water stung his face. Finally, Flamel pulled both twins into an alley out of the downpour. Josh stood, catching his breath. He brushed his hair back out of his eyes and looked at the alchemist. Who are they? He demanded. The hooded ones, the alchemist said bitterly. Dee must be desperate, or more powerful than I thought if he can command them. They are the Genii Copulati. Great, Josh said. That tells me everything I need to know. He looked at his sister. Have you ever heard, he began, and then stopped, seeing the expression on her face. You have. Sophie shivered as the Witch of Endor's memories flickered at the edges of her consciousness. She felt something sour at the back of her throat, and her stomach twisted in disgust. The Witch of Endor had known the Genii Copulati, and she had loathed them. Sophie turned to her brother and explained, flesh eaters. That's all for you.